Do you have the knowledge to work with the next generation of refrigerants? ESCO Institute can help you learn the information you need with the low GWP A2L refrigerant safety course. Did you know newer refrigerants are less harmful to the environment? Did you know there are new standards for the transportation of low GWP refrigerants? Did you know most A2L equipment will require refrigerant detection systems, and you will be required to use no spark, no arc tools and equipment? Get the facts! These are just some of the things you need to know to work on new equipment. Take the online course to learn more. The ESCO Institute Low GWP A2L Refrigerant Safety course is interactive and engaging and will prepare you for the Low GWP A2L Refrigerant Safety Certification exam. You will find the Low GWP A2L Refrigerant Safety course on the HVACR Learning Network, the industry's leading source of online and digital content. Visit hvacr.elearn.network today.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us once again on Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show. You know, we spend a lot of time talking about new innovations and transitions in our industry, and the commercial industrial sector is just as busy as we are looking at ways to become more efficient and to better use our time for our technicians and for our engineers and our applications. So today we're going to have a fantastic new opportunity to, I know, this is going to be so much fun, Karine. We're joined by Karine Leblanc from Daikin Applied Americas. She's so excited to be here. This is going to be a really cool conversation. And as always, we want you all to let us know where you're joining in from. If you have any questions along the way, let me know, and we'll try to address them as we go through. You know, Karine, I've been working with Goodman and Mann at Daikin for a good part of my career. I was a technical service advisor for Johnstone Supply for a long time, and that's what I specialized, was on the residential side of Daikin. And it hasn't been until the last few years that I've really become more involved and more aware of Daikin Applied and all the innovations that are happening there. So tell us a little bit about your history and your participation in the Daikin Applied Solutions.
Well, hi, Clifton. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very excited. I will tell you a little bit more. Actually, it's so funny. I just celebrated my first year anniversary with Daikin Applied 2 days ago.
Fantastic.
So, yay! Super
Yay.
excited. So where does Daikin Applied, or what's the difference between basically what you're talking about, right? The experience, what you've grown. So Daikin Comfort is more like the residential, light commercial, and the Daikin Applied is all like that, those complex, bigger system. But we're working together as a Daikin one, right? One big family, but like a lot of family, you know, there is differences. And we all help each other, basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wasn't aware of all of the new innovations that are coming through Daikin Applied until I seen a couple posts from you. I'm like, wow, she's really got some interesting things going on. And so I had the opportunity to reach out, and you're like, absolutely, let's get on the show. I'm like, all right, now we're talking, because so many educators are, you know, once we're in the classroom, we are a little bit behind on some of the new innovations. You know, the longer we're out of the field, the less we see of new technologies, but we are expected to be able to teach on these in the classroom and to understand them. So as we move into these newer technologies, we'll make sure that everyone is comfortable with the equipment, as well as the contractors that are going to be working on these pieces of equipment. We're helping give them an inside view of the technologies. And so we're grateful that you're joining us today.
Yay.
All right.
Clifton, fun fact, did you know that my father is an HVAC teacher, professor?
No, I did not know that.
Yes, he taught me fire protection and plumbing when I was 17 years old. So he's also a contractor, and he's an educator for life. So I'm very happy to be helping out here right now and be with you.
Yeah, it really is. When you get into education, you're an educator for life. And so it's our responsibility to stay up to date. Kendrick, thank you so much for joining us from Chicago. Patrick Murphy up in Jersey Shore. All right, so let's talk about these newer technologies. And really, it comes down to solutions, having problems and coming up with solutions. That's really one of the things that Daikin specializes in.
Yeah, well, you know, Clifton, Modular Solution is not new. Daikin has been selling that solution per se for 25 years. Okay. However, what is new is the momentum that it's taking over, right? So before it was kind of nice to have, or maybe we're going to look into this. But now I feel like every single project, there is a lot of interest. And everything is going faster, cheaper, smaller. And now suddenly, ooh, oh, we never thought about this solution. Well, this has been there for quite a while. Well, not that long when you consider the HVAC in general, right?
Sure.
But it's not necessarily new, but I feel like it's taking a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I
Of
didn't
momentum.
I didn't know anything about this entire generation of equipment, and once I seen it, I was like, "Whoa, that's a very intriguing piece of information that we need to be more aware of."
Yeah. So do you want me
Mhm.
to show you how it's actually what it
Yeah.
entitles and what it is?
Well, let's do that. Let's dive into it and get a little bit more comfortable, and because it really made a lot of sense to me when we started looking at what
Sure.
type of solution it provides.
Yeah. So if we look at like the main problems of a traditional central plant, right? When
Hmm.
you look at central plant in general, these are some of the challenges that we encounter, right? We have a long design cycle, right? Or
Hmm.
labor shortage, of if we have
Oh,
a
man.
upside project, how are you getting people? We all know about the workforce problem, right? We're
Yeah.
trying this, but your job and your mission is so important because we need new people and we need to educate students so they can fill those roles, and we need them. So unfortunately, we do have to deal with labor shortage.
Hmm.
And what about weather delays, right? I live in beautiful sunny California, but I'm from Quebec City. There's a lot
Ah,
of snow. It's cold. The weather will impact a lot of projects. And also the field coordination issues, right? All the multiple trades, people pointing fingers, the problems. This is always very challenging when you have those big projects. And when I say big, we do small too. So I guess any kind of project, there's also always like challenges, but the bigger, the more problems, I would say. Would you agree with that, Clifton?
oh, yeah, absolutely. And I actually just got back late last night from the United Associates ITP International Training Program. So they have a whole week of training for UA instructors. About 2,500 instructors were there, and one of the conversations they had is that they currently, and they do a majority of our commercial and industrial installations and servicing, from the pipe fitting, from the HVAC, every component in this.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, they need 30,000 technicians. 30,000.
Wow.
And so anything we can do to simplify the process, we're going to assist in that labor shortage, because yeah, it's significant.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, the cost of downtime, right?
Hmm.
Again, time is money, and we're feeling the pressure more and more. Disruption of existing conditions, operation. I give you an example. I was just talking to a hospital maybe a month ago, and they need to replace their central plant. They need to
Hmm.
add, but at the same time, they have the emergency center and they have all the patients that are still coming to the hospital.
It can't
So
be down.
exactly. So
Hmm.
they don't want to jeopardize like the life of people,
Hmm.
but in the same time, if they don't grow, they will jeopardize their life because they won't be able to service them.
You bet.
So the modular solution was the perfect solution for their need, because while they're doing the construction, we
Hmm.
can start doing manufacturing at the plant without disturbing and having all the trucks and the people and the contractors and creating traffic and closing roads, right?
Yeah.
So they really love that solution.
Yeah, yeah, I can absolutely see where that is a huge benefit for time and for keeping the patients provided with all their basics. And for everyone who's joining us, I know we're going through, we're talking about all these solutions. You just wait, you hang on. A little bit later, we're going to dive into some animated content that is really going to bring some life to all of this. So
Yeah, watch
you're
out.
going to
This
enjoy it.
we're keeping the best for the end,
Oh
right?
yeah, you got to stay here today to get the good stuff.
Ah. So what if this is the story basically? What
Okay.
if you could, instead of going the traditional way,
Yeah.
right? And I have to tell you, Clifton, that there is some engineers that I work with, and they don't like the modular way. They want to be in charge. They want to do the design. They
Oh,
want to make
okay.
the calls. They want to feel like, I wouldn't say important, but
Right.
they're very proud that they know, and they're very knowledgeable. So what the modular solution would do is, what if instead of going the traditional way, like installing those chillers, those pump, those expansion tank, and taking real estate like in a building, right? We all know real estate is very expensive,
Oh, yeah.
and having the cooling tower as well, and putting all this together. What if instead of doing all the work and coordinating the effort and the design and all that stuff, I could give it to you in a box? Mic drop.
The whole
Boom.
project.
Yes. Can you believe
Really?
this?
And not 10 project managers, you can get down to a project?
Correct. One single
Hmm.
point of responsibility, one person to deal with, right? One lead time to deal with. So if you compare that like with the rooftop package,
Yeah.
in the old days, the rooftop package was not a rooftop package, right? It was a built-up system. They had to do the compressor, install the condenser, do the piping, do the welding. Everything needs to be built on site. And then now we're lucky we have a rooftop package. The younger generation don't even know. They don't even appreciate it, right? They're like, oh, that's a model number, boom, right? So that's kind of the same idea, but at larger scale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does.
So would you like to have that? Is this something compared to, you have this or all of this already done in a box, basically?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Something you could bring in site, you can set up, and I would imagine because of that modular design, our installation time is cut in fractions.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
And for students, I really like to use the 6 Ps. Or
Okay.
if I have to explain that concept to maybe, because I do presentation for ASHRAE as well,
Sure.
for students, and I tell them it's about the 6 Ps, right? P for prefab,
Mhm.
P for pre-engineered, P for pre-tested,
Oh,
plug
wow.
and play. It's a piece of equipment, not a building.
Mhm.
And the least, or the last but not the least, it's a peace of mind, right? So you were talking about the speed. Well, think about having your entire system already pre-installed, pre-pipe, pre-wire, and shipped as module. Just like a house, right? When you have those prefab house. This is very fast compared to a regular central plant, which may take months and months to have everybody bring into coordination.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, so this project was for Lucid Motors. These are 3 modules. So you see that we have a chiller on the left, chiller in the middle. We have a heat exchanger on the right side. And you can see that the pipe are perfectly aligned with each other. And we have the cooling tower in the back. And we actually mounted those cooling tower on top. You can see here the frame at the top. And when they were on top, it was the size of 4.5-story building. So
That's
very,
incredible.
very impressive. Yes. And we would love to bring students to see our factory, right? They can see that in person or see one that is installed so they can really see and experience it.
Where is the factory for these located?
Ooh, I'm so glad you asked. It's actually in Arizona, in Phoenix.
Oh, cool.
This is at the factory. So when those 3 modules are assembled, it
Mhm.
shows one big mechanical room. So we attach it right there so we can show the contractor how it's assembled, where the lifting lugs, where the pipe are going to be bolted. Everything is done at the factory. So full on collaboration.
Now, do you do factory training as well, like for technicians that could be potentially working on these?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is
Wow.
why we proud ourselves in the collaboration process, right? We want to bring the contractor, we want to bring the owner, we want to bring the engineer in the factory just to show them, and also during the testing. So
Really?
yeah, we did a hospital in California for Kaiser, and the contractor came. So actually, when we go on site, there's no surprise. They
Yeah.
know exactly how it's going to be assembled. Everybody is talked before, as talked before, and then I like to say we're providing you the. We're not just giving you the IKEA book and good luck, right?
Right, right.
We're next to you and we show you exactly how it's going to assembled. so there is no surprise, and we offer field supervision. So it's easier. I would not say it's easy, but it's much easier, right?
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. Well, just I know from a technician, from an educator perspective, if I could actually see that as it is constructed before it comes to my site and start visualizing where everything is placed, I'm going to be thinking about that thing every night. Because I think about HVAC all the time. Anyhow, I'm going to be, okay, let me get this in my brain. But until by the time it comes to my facility, I'm going to be able to walk into it and go, all right, I'm already comfortable. Day one.
Absolutely. Yes. And we did a project for NASA GPL in Pasadena. And I really like to show this slide because it shows how fast it is installed. So you can see here the number one, this project was a 275 ton chiller, and there was 2 modules. So you see in number one, we brought the module on the pad. Then we place the second module. Then number 3, we brought the cooling tower assembly, which is also part of the package, right? We don't leave anything outside.
Right.
And then we put it on the box, we bring the cooling tower, and then you get your central plant. So question for you, Clifton, how long do you think it took to do that?
6 weeks.
Okay. No, it's actually 8 hours.
What?
Yes, sir. So this is fast.
All of this.
Yes, and this is why it's getting momentum. It's getting even more popular than it was. And for that specific project, one of their concern was the space. Okay. Space was a major concern, and also the fact that it's a highly secure environment.
Right.
So just for example, when I took those photos, I had to go through 3 security checkpoints. So imagine the coordination of all the effort for the construction people and the trucks and the workers. So by us providing that simple solution with the box, it saved them a lot of headaches and problems.
Yeah. No, Tony, you're right.
Hi, Tony.
Fascinating.
So I thought that our module looks so pretty, right? I'm like, oh my God, look how pretty the box and the cooling tower. But the architect didn't think so because they hid it behind that wall, that architecture wall.
Sure.
But I think still it looks good. And you can notice that we have those doors, right? The garage door, so we can clean the tubes, right? Yeah. And it's easier to maintain.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to really show in the industry, because many people don't get to see how you mentioned it's pretty, right? We have a beautiful industry. We have some very intriguing things to work on, highly skilled, and not everyone gets to see that. And so one of the things that we try to do is to be able to show, not just, students or technicians, but, the parents out there, if they're wanting to look for careers that, that their children will be interested in for life, we're like, hello, we're it. Let us show you some of it. And this is a great example of where we've come with technology and cosmetics at the same time.
Imagine, Clifton, coming home and telling your family that you get to work on the Mars rover lab at GPL and you're responsible for keeping it cool. That's very impressive. I don't know how many students can say that they would do that or they have done that. So it's very impressive. No, so this was just to show like the lack of space. Again, I want to show the benefit that that system, right? There is no space on the roof. There is no space around. So you can see here that our modular central plant was perfectly located in a tight environment.
Wow, very cool.
Yay! Yeah. So, and this is the interior. I think it's pretty, but it's not as shiny because people have been working in it. But you can see here that we have gantry for the pump, so to make it easier to maintain. So these are just some benefits. Clifton, what do we, should we just jump to the case study, or what do you think?
I tell you, one of the things that really made me think along the way, because like you just mentioned, that's sitting outside. Typically when we're working on new construction or we're working on renovations, there's a significant amount of building codes that go into those specifications.
Oh God, yes.
I'm seeing something that may not apply to my building.
Yes. Let me show you. This is not a building. And this is the number one question that I get, right? But Karine, it's a building. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not a building. So if you compare the modular solution with the traditional building,
Yeah.
we don't need a building permit. So basically, we don't need to hire an architect. We don't need to wait like weeks and weeks for the design. We are just like a piece of equipment,
Yeah.
like an air handling unit, right? A rooftop that you're very familiar with. It just so happened that we have a chiller inside, or a pumps, or expansion tank, and all of these together. So basically, I wanted to show you the proof. This is the Kaiser project,
Mm-hmm.
and I was walking by the modular central plant, and then I catch that nameplate, and I'm like, oh my God, nameplate. Let me take my phone. This is going straight to my presentation, right? I want to
Mm-hmm.
make a point that it shows here it's a ETL listed piece of equipment, right? And you don't find nameplate on a building. And I don't know about your building,
Right.
Clifton, but on my building, in my house, I don't have a nameplate. What do you
No,
think?
no, absolutely. So the entire assembly has its own rating as a piece of
Yes.
equipment.
So you don't need to do fire protection. You don't need to have ADA requirement. Of course, we still do the ASHRAE 15, right? With the
Mhm.
refrigerant
Yeah.
monitor, the exhaust fan, and the ventilation, all of this, right? But as far as the other requirement, we don't have to. So it speeds up the process, basically.
That's a
Does that make
great
sense?
point. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Jason Objute from our team spends a lot of time with ASHRAE, especially with like 15.2, and looking at what are our mitigation, our refrigerant detection and mitigation strategies. If we're working on an existing structure, that's one scenario. If we're designing a new one, now we have all of these requirements that have to go into effect based on LFLs and space, versus going, I need this much capacity, and you end up with a box already done.
Yes. Yes. And guess what? If we're talking about money,
Hmm.
which is very important for owners, right?
Hmm.
You get 7 years depreciation versus 30 years for a building. So I'm not a CPA, but I know that I can save money.
Wow.
And if it save
In
money,
7 years.
it's a
Yeah.
big deal. Big deal.
Yeah. Well, huge.
Yeah.
Almost 3.5 times. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so we assembled these in Phoenix. I wanted to show you the factory
Mhm.
in case you were interested.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think you should come to our factory,
I think this
Clifton.
is a road show, Karine. This is right up my alley.
Yay! I'm excited. So our current factory is 55,000 square foot, right? We're located in Phoenix. But guess what? Again, the market is growing. So we're
Yeah.
moving to this brand new facility. It's only 4 miles from our existing, and we're tripling the size of our factory. So we are
Wow.
super excited. This is going to be
Yeah.
ready in January 2026. And I cannot wait to go back and see you there. So we
I know.
can
We're gonna have to hurry though. Tony's on here. He's gonna be scheduling it before we get off this call.
that would totally be Tony's style. Oh my
Yeah,
God. He's
we
probably
love.
texting me right now.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Yeah, we have such a common interest. Like, yeah, when things like this, you'll see content from both of us about the same time, and it's starting to become this. Okay, he's going to get to the coolest content.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to show you, Clifton, that
Yeah,
for students, how it is specified, right? How it's designed with engineers. So when
sure.
they go and work on this, right, it shows just on plans with boxes, and they can see like the chillers and the pumps and the boilers. So this is all in plans, and it's all in 3D drawing. Very impressive, right? The amount
Sure.
of detail and work that has been done. So the quality is there, the engineering is there. So it minimizes a lot of risk for the owner and the design team, because we're all working together and we do all the work before, basically.
Sure.
And you
Wow.
can see here, every module has their own electrical, right? So there is no wire crossing between the modules. So it's very reliable.
Yeah, easier for electrical installation too, so we can have our independent circuits for each one of them. That's a nice
Yes,
feature.
absolutely. Absolutely. This is our widest module that we have shipped. It's 17 foot wide. Look at this.
Hmm.
This went to the University of Nevada in Reno, and I went there. It was such an impressive system. They're actually using these to do district cooling for the entire campus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sure.
Would you guess how many buildings they are providing cooling to?
Oh, wow. Not after seeing these now, because I'm looking at size and I'm going, I don't know. Wow.
Yes. So it's a tough question. Usually, if I talk to engineers, they're going to be like, well, it depends how tall it
Yeah,
is,
I
where
know.
it's facing, is there windows? And they're going to go through all the
Here's my
details.
load calculation. Let me figure this out here.
Exactly. It's so funny. So this was sent in two phases, right? The first phase was 550 ton in 2016. I want to point this out because there is a reason why. And the second phase was 1400 ton in 2022. Okay. Now, when you see them next to each other, can you tell which one is from 2016 and which one is from 2022?
Not at all. They look like they were just installed together.
Exactly. So that brings another point, Clifton, about consistency, right?
Yeah.
It's like the factory has all the trades within their factory and it's the same people, right? So consistency is always the same way we're building. Of course, not always the same because we like to improve, right? So we always improve ourselves, but consistency is key. So the only way I would know right now is because there's a 550 ton and the other one is a 1400 ton. So smaller door versus bigger door, right? So that's pretty much it. But this is the interior, and this is providing cooling to 40 buildings in
That's
their
insane.
campus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a complete plant, which would have been a building all of its own, is now a modular.
Absolutely. So they were super happy. I went there, I talked to the facility people, and they were very, very pleased. They have no problems. They love how tight it is, how quiet it is as well, because it's a school, right? So
Right.
all those walls, like we use R16 insulation, we use R20 for the roof,
Wow.
but it's fully customizable. So we can make it the way you want. We make it easy, basically.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, and we do more than chillers, Clifton. We do also pump house and we do boiler house as well. So not only like the chiller in the cooling tower, either on side or on top, we also do like skid as well. So it's a solution, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. That's one of the things I was going to ask earlier. I kind of forgot to ask because when we were going through some of those traditional plants, that traditional plant could have all sorts of generations. I mean, it could have old boilers, it could have chillers, it could have air handlers, it could have pump stations. They might be in a whole separate building. So when we look at the different components, now you're saying that you can actually build a modular plant for any of those utilities that you need.
Yeah. So we do like a pump house, and we even have boiler Bob. Yeah, you can see it like boiler Bob is here.
Yeah,
So we like to
Bob.
include him in our drawing so we can compare the size of the system. We also do decarbonization project as well. I have a case study that I can show you, but these are air cool heat pump. And again, since it's fully custom, whatever the engineer would like to do or the owner, we are open to it, right? I like to say we think inside the box, but we think outside the box as well, right? So we can think outside and finding new way of doing it.
I've got a request of my own. So Bob O'Brien happens to be with us today. Bob is the hydronic side from Nora, and if we had a boiler Bob O'Brien in one of those, that would just be the funnest thing ever. He's a wonderful person.
Too funny.
Yeah, we have our own boiler Bob with us today.
So these are very cool rendering, right? That we provide with the system. So it's good for students to see, and they can see themselves inside the box because I look at the rooftop package, you cannot see inside, right? You can't, but this, yes, you can. And we all have those 3D drawings. So you can remove the wall, you can move it, you can play the rendering. So it's so intuitive. And I wish I had that when I was in college. I'm a mechanical engineer student, and I drew that by hand, right?
Yes,
and I used CAD version 10. So you see Boiler Bob is right here again. You see?
I do.
So boiler system, these are just like photo and ideas. Example, Clifton, you stop me. And also, I wanted to point out that since we're fully custom, right, the system is fully custom.
Right.
What if your project is in Hawaii,
Oh,
right?
true.
How do you deal with like the corrosion
Transportation. Yeah.
and the
And the elements.
transportation? Yes. So we actually work on the old Trump Hotel, was called now the Kalai in Waikiki. And they forced me, I had to go to
Oh,
Hawaii.
Karine, you're going to have to travel for this job.
I know.
It's on
For
you.
me, I had to go there.
Yeah.
I went there and I actually did also a national presentation. So,
Nice.
but I went to visit that site. And to
Mhm.
tell you the truth, Clifton, I've been only 1 year with Daikin, like I mentioned earlier, and I didn't know how this would look because this modular central plant modular solution has been installed 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm like,
A lot
okay,
of
how
salt
is it going
water.
to look?
Yeah.
It's right on the ocean. It's
Mhm.
on the 32nd level, right? And I'm like, okay, how is it going to look? And then this is the rendering that I got before I went. And then I went on site and I took those photos myself. Like, oh my God, look how good this looks. Like no like rust, no
Wow.
paint peeling, super beautiful, a very, very tight roof, as you can tell,
I
right?
see
There
that.
was no space. And this is why our solution was perfect, because we came and we were able just to place the box there with the cooling tower. And not only this is a controlled environment, right? We use the chill water from the chiller to cool the space inside, right?
Mhm.
And we can also do the 10,000 hours corrosion coating, so
Sure.
there is no problem. Not only that, but on that specific system, the performance and energy saving energy was very important, because as you know, or I don't know if you know, but the cost of electricity in Hawaii is very expensive.
Yeah.
My friend was telling me 55 cents per kW, right? So it's a lot. So when they save energy, for them, it's a lot of money. So this is a photo that I took from my LinkedIn, and Drika from Ameriscope said, we put that Daikin at the old Trump Hotel and reduced energy consumption by 50%.
That's
Look at
crazy.
this. And this is not my words, right? And I don't even know who Drika is. So, but again, I'm like, she posted that. This is public. We're taking
Yeah,
the LinkedIn
absolutely.
and boom.
Screenshot.
Absolutely, right? So big deal. When you have your modular solution, you're more in control of the performance, because now you're one person doing the whole entire design, right? You don't rely on different people. You're sure that what you're getting. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely it does. And you know, all of the products, the parts, many a times, like during manufacturing, if a component is unavailable, it'll get replaced with a component from some other source, and it may be completely different than what you're used to working on, versus all being sourced from Daikin. It's going to be very consistent in the manufacturing.
Yeah. And
Mm.
actually, that's a good point. We are brand agnostic. So
Mhm.
in our box, if you have a preference and you want to use a specific pump versus another
Yeah.
one, we will have a conversation. If we are maybe concerned, or maybe the lead time is longer, or
Mhm.
maybe the price is higher, we may have a conversation with you and say, hey, here's the situation. Knowing that, what do you decide, right?
Right.
So this is very impressive, because you're
I
not
agree.
stuck.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you, Clifton, but I don't like to be told what to do.
Well,
Right,
I
exactly.
I might have been accused of that a few thousand times.
Yeah. Exactly. So the only thing I'm going to tell you what to do is you need to have a Daikin chillers, but the rest
Mhm.
I'm good, right? So you can decide whatever it is. So this was a beautiful project
Mhm.
and I had to take a photo of the nameplate, because again, I'm trying to prove a point that
Yeah.
it's not a
It's not a
building.
building. No, it's a piece
Yes.
of equipment.
This casino, I was there 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to show you this, because this solution is very good for scalability, right? So like I mentioned earlier, if there's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3,
Mhm.
maybe it's because of budget, or like in that case, maybe they started with a casino and then they're like, oh, phase 2, we're going to build more hotel rooms, right? So they don't have the
Absolutely.
money, they don't have the time in one time. So we can scale it. So for this system, you can see here that the pad was already ready for the future, and they put like those stub for the piping.
Oh, the expansion.
Yes. So after that, they just remove
Oh,
this and they plug the other module.
that's fantastic.
Pretty cool, huh? And
Yeah.
I didn't upload my new photo, but I will probably do a LinkedIn post. I can show it. Here's another example. This one just happened to be a data center in LA.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted to put a central plant on the roof. But as you can tell, this is a historic building in downtown Los Angeles. We're not going to ruin the beautiful view, right?
Yeah.
So they put it in the back, and you can see here, this is phase 1. And then on phase 2, they came in, they placed that cooling tower with the module. So can you believe how easy it is, right?
Yeah,
And
that is
how
crazy.
planned ahead it is.
Yeah, when you're looking at expansion of any type, it allows for that expansion. That's one of the biggest concerns when we're working with buildings is that we don't know how they're going to be used in the future, and so now we have the ability to expand without having to completely re-engineer.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is a contractor, right? Aqua engineer, and he put that on my LinkedIn. He says, "Karine, very clean setups." And then at bottom, he says, "Does your modular always come with rigging option for pumps and centrifugal compressor?"
Oh, that's
So
important.
yeah, we
Yeah.
understand that if it's hard to maintain, it's not going to last.
Yeah.
And I'm in the sales business, so I don't want it to last because I want to sell it again, right? But I have an ethical way, and I cannot do that, right? This is impossible. I would not sleep at night. So
Sure.
I really want to make sure that it's easy to maintain and it lasts. This is a project I was talking to you about, the decarbonization.
Yes.
So this is a project that we did in Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, it's being built at the factory. So I saw it last week when I went to the factory. I saw the beam getting set up and the wall getting ready. So very impressive. So this is something we can offer too. We understand that there's a big push for decarbonization as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this one, since it was a rehabilitation and there was high security, they didn't want the people to have to go to security every time they need to maintain the system.
Right.
So they built that offsite and
External
treated.
access.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh,
And
before you leave that though, well,
yeah,
that's actually it's
yeah.
on here too. So
Yeah.
one of the most intriguing innovations that I'm seeing now in the world
Yeah.
of chillers is I noticed that that's a heat pump chiller.
Yes, yes. And Daikin, this is even a Daikin. This is pretty sad. But we are coming, we're going to have ours in December. So
Very nice.
at this point, as long as I provide a solution,
Yeah.
that's the important part. Yes,
You
that's
betcha.
correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
having that whole heat pump capability is making everyone rethink how we move energy.
Absolutely. And people think that it's only like, water cool, centrifugal,
Yeah.
but now, yes, absolutely, it makes a huge difference.
Hmm.
We do hospital too.
Mhm.
You stop me because I have just case study.
No,
So
let's
are
go.
you okay?
We'll save about 10 minutes towards the end and go through the animation side of it. So make sure y'all
Yeah.
hang in because the animations are really cool. Because this is fascinating to me.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
it's all about pictures. I'm a picture person.
Yes,
So
visual.
yes, yeah. So Kaiser Hospital, this was for 2 labs, and they are 724, like 7 by
Yeah,
24.
24.
It's so
Yeah.
fun.
Mhm.
Because of the conference and data center, now I'm
Yeah.
switching them. So we cannot shut it down, right? And the 2 plants that I put in yellow here, they were both like in max capacity. So they're
Mhm.
like, what are we going to do, right? So this is where the modular solution came. They're like, okay, we have no space. We don't want to have a downtime. So what are we going to do? So they decided to put it right here between the building, as you can tell here. And how the 4 modules we provided are right here. So we had 2 modules with 4 500-ton chillers. And you see here, Barter Bob is still here.
Yeah.
See how small he is?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to think about Bob O'Brien. It's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
funny. And one thing we can do is when I walked the site, I noticed that the 4th chiller was missing. So I asked him, like, what happened? Did we lose that one, right? And they said that no, actually, they prepared and designed everything to fit the need when or if we need to add another chiller for extra capacity. Yes. So the expansion doesn't have to be only as a module, but it can be within the module as well. And then we have that module for the boilers. And the last one was a very unique situation. They asked us to provide a module for electrical distribution. So for battery racks and server racks.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So very, very interesting. And I was not on that site when they did the startup. That was before I started. But I talked to the rep, the contractor, and they said that they did the changeover in less than 10 minutes, and they were able to maintain the temperature loops. So
that's insane.
It's insane. This is crazy. You wouldn't have that like with the traditional plant, right?
No. You're having a planned shutdown.
Yes, yes. So this is like the battery rack. This is the Daikin chillers, the switch gear, just some photo I took.
Nice.
And this is a photo from me outside. It was not 100% ready, but I thought this is good enough, right?
Yeah, indeed.
And you've been to that one, have you?
I have, yes, absolutely. Yay. Just came back a few months ago doing a behind the scenes video showing, the changes in manufacturing inside and technologies and innovations and yeah.
Clifton, I have a question for you regarding that site. How many steps did you walk?
That one was at least a 16,000 day. That was so much walking.
Yes, because it's a 4 million square feet factory, right? Yeah. So for people who don't know how big 4 million is, it's the size of 74 football field with end zones. So pretty extraordinary. And why I like to point this out is because we actually use what we sell, right? So it's almost like the car manufacturer who drives another brand. No, we actually use our own. And this is exactly what has been installed at our factory in Texas. And I know at one point it was the second largest factory in the US, but I don't know because now there's so many people going and Ben is there and he's asking me about OSHPD. Yes, Ben, we can do OSHPD. We actually did the Stanford Hospital OSHPD 10 years ago. So this was 30,000 pounds of steam modules. And I removed those slides because I didn't think I would have to deal with OSHPD. So my bad, but...
That's okay. That's another conversation. We never know, the size of our audience. We have technicians, contractors, educators, engineers. We've got Osvaldo joining us from Belize, a technician that hops into the show very regularly just to learn about the industry from firsthand educators like Karine. This is such a wonderful education. I'm learning a lot myself.
Yay, I'm glad you do. This is the top view. I just went to Google Earth just to show you. It looks so small because this is so big, right?
Yep. Yeah, I remember seeing that sitting out there.
Yeah, do you want me to show you the interaction?
Oh, yeah, this is probably the funnest part of this. Yeah, as educators, you're gonna be wanting to be able to get your hands on this. This is so much fun.
It is so cool. Let me see here. I'm going to reshare.
Okay.
There we go.
And then let me bring that up and I'll bring us over to the side. Okay, now we're ready.
Okay. So if I ask you, Clifton, what do you think is the biggest problem for schools when they want to do any HVAC related project?
I would assume expansion, only because here in my own town of Brownsburg, our high school went through an expansion 3 years ago, anticipating it to last 10, and we just completed the second renovation 3 years later. I could assume that would be a very important part, and noise and location of the equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also the biggest pain for the school is that they basically have 2 months to do the work.
Oh, yeah, that short window of time, you bet.
Exactly. So what if you could offer to a school, hey, don't worry about it. We'll start manufacturing, building it at our factory while your students are going to school. We're not going to bother anything. And then when they finish the last day at school, like on June 22nd, we can start after that and we can deliver that box. What do you think? This is crazy solution. Don't you think it would be fantastic?
Oh, yeah, there'd be zero downtime. You'd have it up and running and be able to train your contractor, the technicians on the equipment before school even starts.
Absolutely. So
Mm,
let's pretend that this school there is no more space on the roof, or let's
okay.
pretend that the roof is not strong enough to carry a central plant. So
Yeah.
they decide that maybe they want to put it in the back,
Yep.
right? So they have space. So since they have space, they decided that they wanted to put the cooling tower at the end. But an option could be cooling tower on the
Up on
top,
top.
or another
Yeah.
option can be somewhere else on the
Mhm.
roof or any other place. So let's say that, just like you mentioned, right, expansion. Let's say that that school is planning to welcome more students, or maybe having a brand new auditorium,
Mhm.
and they are planning for next year. Well, see, next year happened. Now they're building it, and now we need to cool that auditorium, but we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to go back to the drawing board. We don't need to hire another engineer, contractors, installers, because we have planned ahead, and now you get to just drop another box.
Wow.
Wow.
That's something.
Pretty cool, right?
That's
So
hard to believe.
yeah. So how hard was it to install? Look at this. You bring the water and you bring the power. Boom. Everything is set. And you already planned it. So money wise, installation wise, time wise, it's all there. And the space is also allocated. So it's a wonderful solution. And then, of course, the maintenance people, like we mentioned,
Mhm.
they are the decision maker, I feel, in school. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
like the owners, they rely on them,
Yep.
because if the unit always breaking, or they don't have access to parts, or they have too many brands, they don't like it, right? But
Mhm.
now what if, when it's 115 during the summer or minus 30 during the winter, what if they can go in that beautiful box, right? That is conditioned, that is clean, that is well lit, and that easy to maintain. Hello. I
Sounds
would love
dreamy.
to go work in this. What about
Yeah.
you,
Oh,
Clifton?
yeah, I've been in both of these environments. I've been in some nice looking ones, and I've been in the really bad ones, and that would
Yes.
be dreamy to go into a nice, consistent environment.
Yes, you said
Mhm.
it. So you can tell here that with those roll-up doors, it's easy to clean the tubes of the chiller,
Oh,
right?
true.
And
Wow.
we have lightings, and we have like the boilers, and we have the pumps, and we even provide like drain if you want, like the gutter, right?
Gutters.
The
Mhm.
from yeah. So it's very, very beautiful, easy to maintain. And I have another here slide that I wanted to show you about, like the gantry, right, for the
Ooh,
pump. So we
yeah.
provide that in our system. We
Ah,
want to be easy.
yeah, that's a backbreaker to be in a pump room and have to change one. You're going to find an engine hoist. You're going to find some kind of a crane. You're going to spend a lot of time getting prepped versus
Yeah,
already being planned with a gantry lift. Nice.
yeah, absolutely. And besides that, Clifton, we have like a quick video. I can send you the link, or we
Mhm.
can show it to you. But I wanted to ask you something. There is something pretty crazy that I forgot that to ask you if we could do. But I actually have a video of a 96,000 pound modular on the road.
Oh,
W-
really?
Would you
Yeah.
like to see that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
think it's
absolutely. I'd like to
I,
see
I
that.
I think it's I have the link right here. I'm just gonna share it with you.
Yep.
It's I think the truck is actually more impressive than the module. Let me do that here.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna share right here.
Let's see if it'll play. Sometimes Restream's not the best, but we're going to see. I'm really curious now.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's pulling up. Okay.
So let's do that. So it's coming. This was in the middle of the night. It went from Arizona to Los Angeles. That was for the Kaiser project.
Yep.
As I showed you on the drawing, there was 4 modules, and now I'm building up the intensity. Right? It's
Yeah.
like you
It's
can see the
coming.
truck coming.
Where's the
It's
music?
being I know
Yeah.
it's being escorted by the police. Um, we actually had to wait between the Arizona border to the California border for the police to come and escort us. And you can see that this piece of equipment, 96,000 pound, um, from Arizona to Los Angeles in the middle of the night. So it's very, very impressive.
That
Something
is.
you want to be there, right? You want to be
Yeah.
there to see it. So look
Yeah.
at how low it is.
That's really cool. I'm sure, many of us have been out on the interstate and, seen some of these style trailers and wondering, well, what are they moving? What is in that? And now you start seeing a package that looks similar to this. You might look at it and go, somebody might be getting them a new modular plant.
I know. Actually, I've never seen something like that on the road. Not that big. I see like the modular house that you
Mm-hmm.
see, or maybe air handling unit,
Yep.
but that size. And I'm thinking the reason why I didn't is probably because it's in the middle of the night and I'm
Yeah.
saving, right?
Yeah, that was so true. A perfect time to transport that, and yeah, you
Yeah.
think about, if you were building the structure, the traditional plant, you're bringing in just load after load after load of components and materials, and you're hoping that they're on schedule, and you're hoping that
Yep.
someone didn't forget to order something, and you're hoping that they use the right wire, and you're hoping that they use the right piping, and you're hoping that they ordered the right components, versus knowing that you're getting a package delivered to you.
Yep.
Hmm.
So we would use those smaller like DX system.
Yes.
For example, if we had like a boiler room and there was no chill water.
Yeah.
So then we would install like the Daikin split system or the mini splits, right? Something ductless in that to make it work. Otherwise, we just use the chill water for the controlled environment.
With those modular solutions, then, what
Mhm.
is the lower capacity range and maybe the higher capacity range? Since they're modular, I'm assuming they can be stacked in combination.
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. We have seen as low as 80 ton.
Okay.
And I think
Wow.
one of the biggest one we have is the 10,000 ton. So, it's like we're open. And that job that we did for Stanford Hospital,
Mhm,
it took the entire factory. So we
mhm.
basically didn't do any work for that year. This project was the entire
Dedicated to
factory. It
that.
was 20 modules. And
Wow.
yeah, so 10 years ago, but now, we're getting bigger. We have bigger
Yeah.
factory. So we're ready to do more, tackle more. But yeah, we can do smaller. Like when I went to Hawaii, I'm not talking to them about 8,000 ton system,
Right.
right? Because it's an island, it's smaller, and then their temperature is very good, the weather. So I
Mhm.
was able to talk about maybe smaller, but that works well for them because they ship things on containers. So if I
Yeah.
make my module the same size as a container, then it's a
Easy to
it's a perfect
transport.
solution. Exactly.
Wow. A lot of
Exactly.
solutions I hadn't even thought about. Still a lot of people out in the chat. If anyone has any questions, please throw them into the chat. Because I know there's going to be educators going, I'd like to learn more about those animations. That's a great way to start in the classroom, is the introduction to it. How can our audience learn more about Daikin Applied and solutions that are available through Daikin Applied?
How they can learn more about it?
Hmm.
Well, through our website, of course. Let me see here. I have this that
Oh,
maybe we can play in the back.
okay.
I'm going to share my screen. And this is on the Daikin Applied website. Let me see here. This is very good for students because it really shows how it's assembled
Oh,
right
yep, there
here.
it is.
And even has the sound and explanation. And it just so happened that this one is somewhere where it's colder. I even don't know where it is, but it's not in
Mhm.
California where I am.
Yeah, that looks like
But
my weather right there.
yes, are you in Indiana?
Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see here, they start with placing one module. They show the inside.
Very
We have the
clean.
fan coil at the top. We have water treatment as well, VFDs. This is at our factory, so we have our workers putting it together. We assembled this as well, the piping, um, the assembly, right? But look how tight it is in that
Wow.
pit, right?
Yeah.
Now they bring the cooling towers.
Yeah, I think about some of the facilities that are, like you mentioned, maxed out on their existing capacity and they don't have room to expand. I can imagine in many instances, they're able to get more capacity out of a building because they're using the modular design and they're getting a smaller footprint and everything
Mhm.
is nicely drawn together.
Correct.
Man, that's super cool.
It's very slick. I really pride myself to go to job site after it has been installed, like not right away, but I want to check, right? I want to
Mhm.
check on how everything is. Is everything to their liking? Is there any problems? And I have to say that it's pretty impressive. Every time I go, people are like, "Karine, this is a great solution, right?
No, I love
We're good." It's almost like when you install those rooftop package, it's not going to happen very often that something is going to come up, right?
it. Hmm.
So you can see this video would be very good for students or educator to show.
Yeah, good introduction. Yeah, I'm glad you
Mhm.
captured, the essence of this, so well. It
Mm.
shows, lets everyone see how interesting, how intriguing it is, and how simplified it's become.
Yes, 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 yes. What
All
else,
right.
Clifton? Do you have any other question for me?
No, my brain's on fire now. You've definitely got so much information out there, so well organized. We're really grateful that you joined us today. I hope that everyone gets over to Daikin Applied, learns more about what's happening, and to understand that there are so many jobs in this perspective of our industry that are overlooked and really is such an intriguing place to be. I mean, I spent a lot of my time in the commercial sector and commercial refrigeration, and I had never spent any time in this modular. And if I would have, I'm sure I would have wanted to be in that. So, be thinking about that for the classrooms as, new products that you can introduce into the classroom, new job opportunities. And I haven't seen any questions. We're actually getting right at the top of the hour. It's pretty good timing.
That's a good point,
Ooh,
Clifton. You mentioned something very, very special is the lack of awareness.
yes.
And I have to repeat it, the lack of awareness. We have a tendency to go back to what we know
Yep.
because it's easier.
Hmm.
It's easier, we know it. And if I were to ask um, my friends or my coworker if they like change, right?
Not typically.
Who likes change, right? We like to stay in our comfort, in our little
Mhm.
routine, the way we've been designing. But there is a better way. And I think we need to embrace that. And I'm so grateful to you to allow me to bring this solution and maybe improve, I guess, increase the awareness of your educators because the students are basically our future, right? They are the people that will be there. They are the people that will help and build and assemble and design. And so we need them. We need them to change, to think forward, and to look at other solutions. So I'm so, so grateful for you. And thank you so much for everything you do. This has a huge impact, huge impact.
Well, we hope that it does. We try to, present it in a fun and encouraging atmosphere so that we can really show the behind the scenes side of the industry that really is cool. I mean, you mentioned it, and it's a pretty industry. There's some really cool products out here. You just have to be exposed to them. That's
Yeah, yeah,
what we try to do. All
yeah.
right. Well, I don't see any last questions or comments. I thank everyone for joining us today. And Karine Leblanc, we are so grateful for you and Daikin Applied. And maybe in the near future, we can do us a data center conversation.
Oh, I would love that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You have a wonderful evening. And we will see you all next week on Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show.